Hello. Our film class, directed by Mr. Kyle, has chosen to cover Some Like It Hot by Billy Wilder in 1959 and Do the Right Thing, directed by Spike Lee in 1989. Billy Wilder, a true summation of the American dream, whose films managed to encapsulate 20th century Hollywood at its finest hour. Born in Susha Bezhishka in 1906, Wilder worked his way up from a brief career in journalism to becoming a Hollywood screenwriter by the age of 27. Some Like It Hot stands as one of Wilder's finest works, and till this day it still strikes a chord with American and international audiences alike due to its quintessential comedic style and relatable witty dialogue. Billy Wilder displays the mark of an auteur in his film Some Like It Hot, which was released in 1959 at a time where the Hays Code was losing its firm grip on the film industry. His film closely focused on sharp, witty dialogue, as aforementioned, between characters rather than gaudy cinematography, but this in fact is keeping the audience's eye on the interaction between the characters of the film. It's very nice. Very artistic, he dismissively says before saying, "Who sees the scene from this angle?" failing to acknowledge the perspective from spiders and other small insects. Wilder's writing talent was very well known, and he wrote his scripts in great detail, insisting that his scripts be spoken exactly as they are written, with absolutely no on-the-spot improvisation of any kind, or method acting, mumbling. Utilizing his talent, he intentionally creates connections with other films. George Raft's character in the classic film Scarface continuously flipped a coin. In Some Like It Hot, Raft's character Spats Columbo sees a young hoodlum flipping a coin in the air. Raft's character catches it and says the magic line, "Where'd you pick up that cheap trick?" Taking elements out of wildly acclaimed films, Wilder places them within his own films for either comedic effect, as the audiences could be in on the joke, or to parody the films. This parodying of Hollywood and American culture is not only revealed through dialogue and choice of actor, but also its subject matter. Billy Wilder takes on American culture as well as Hollywood, pushing boundaries of what was acceptable in cinema, primarily due to the Hays Code. Throughout the entirety of Some Like It Hot, Billy Wilder shoves the idea of homosexuality and same-sex marriage to the audience beyond what was normal and socially acceptable in the 1950s, though it's certainly softened by the genre of comedy and the relaxation of the Hays Code. Joe and Jerry often have trouble remembering that they are meant to be women, and yet try to catch Sugar's eye, who is completely oblivious to the fact that Josephine and Daphne are actually men. Billy Wilder's use of cross-dressing in Some Like It Hot disguises and also directly refers to and questions the star image and what is and what isn't the reality of a person's character. During this era of Hollywood, each star was essentially typecast in a specific genre or character style. Hero, villain, and often still is till this day. It questions the star and stardom, calling stardom a role, then subverts it by making the character step outside of it. And as Bruce Lee once said, the role of a star is, that's the word superstar is an illusion, thus emphasizing that disguises are metaphors for roles, particularly in life itself. A theme that Billy Wilder frequently revisits is the idea of human nature, an issue that confronts ordinary people every day. In Some Like It Hot, Joe and Jerry are looking for jobs as musicians, but their outlook is grim, depressing, and unfulfilling. For musicians or artists in general, searching for jobs was virtually impossible, whether that be now or in the 1920s when Some Like It Hot is set. The exploration of human nature is also in the exchanges between Joe and Sugar. Joe is attracted to Sugar, played by Marilyn Monroe, a form of beauty who is running away from her own life, like him, but his own true identity must remain an enigma. To save himself from Spats Columbo, Joe and Jerry have to remain hidden in plain sight. Joe decides to dress as Sugar's ideal man, a millionaire with a yacht, glasses, which are all the things that she had listed previously as her ideal man, and the ability to take her away from her own life and protect her from herself. By playing hard to get, Joe reveals to the audience his want for a woman to chase him. This play and examination of sexual aspects of social intercourse, including the ease in which Sugar follows this man and runs off into the sunset with him. Yet another saxophone player, who will likely just be another man to disappoint her, reveals Wilder's pessimism towards women, a view which is wildly realised. Throughout his scintillating film career, Billy Wilder has consistently proven to show and establish his label as an auteur, with the consistent exploration of themes of deception, disguise, human nature, stars and stardom with aspects of everyday life and people. Using his biting wit and cynicism, he takes the carefully constructed Hollywood world and cracks it apart as the Hays Code reign of conformity was over. Questioning, at what we take for granted, the image of a star, American values, and the primitive and grating post-World War II life. Wilder takes his skill at writing and directs with precision his ideas and philosophies throughout the medium of film. Woof. Spike Lee's film Do the Right Thing embodies a much more serious ideological standpoint and approach to filmmaking. The very name of Lee's own company, 40 Acres and a Mule, is a statement that summarizes racial tension in the United States, with reference to the promised items to slaves when freed. Do the Right Thing often manages to encapsulate the struggles faced by minorities in America in the late 80s by letting its characters embody a particular stereotype. This is a technique that is famous for being utilized by Brett, and suggests the subtle influence from Brettian cinema in Lee's film. Much like Some Like It Hot bears reference to other films of the past, Lee's Do the Right Thing contains various gags and callbacks to the project She's Gotta Have It. This film also manages to reflect the form of education undergone by Lee. As one of the first from a generation of directors that went to film school, Lee's films contain a more powerful and realistic statement on the lives of lower-class minorities in America. The wall of famous Italians at Sal's Pizzeria is said to be influenced by a wall of African-American icons at the college Spike Lee went to. Do the Right Thing also manages to convey a sense of cultural importance, with the song Fight the Power by Public Enemy being used as a theme throughout the film, and in the film's introduction. The film also explores the impact of cultural icons such as Muhammad Ali in the introduction, as Rosie Perez dons a pair of boxing gloves and imitates his moves. African American icons are also represented as significant sources of motivation for people within New York, as DJ Love Daddy lists a selection of various Black American musicians at one point in the film. Throughout the film, civil rights leaders such as Malcolm X and Martin Luther King are also placed at the focal point. This is typical of his auteur style, as he's produced and made several films to do with racial tension, pretty much all of his films, and also the fact that, Oh yeah, he made a film called Malcolm X. An auteur's signature is a mark or a staple of director's filmography. The signature can make a director's work more recognisable to their fan base. In Lee's films, he tackles social issues and social injustices. This is a staple of his work. The song Fight the Power in the introduction can be hinting towards the character of bugging out, fighting the power of Sal in his pizzeria, and the fact that Sal won't allow any black celebrity on his Italian Wall of Fame, which is what bugging out was. Fight the Power is also referenced at the end of the film during the riot, at the climax, where black communities are fighting the police, or the power, as the song would suggest. Before Do the Right Thing was being created, there were numerous cases of police brutality against black citizens, which were public cases and may have influenced the editing of Do the Right Thing. The use of colours in Spike Lee's films are an auteur mark of his work, and the use of colour can influence the mood of a film. Red and yellows are very present throughout Do the Right Thing, as red and yellows represent warmth. Do the Right Thing is set on the hottest day of the summer. These colours have another underlining meaning, the meaning of hatred, anger, conflict, which is a key factor in Do the Right Thing. And let me get this straight, there is clear tension throughout the film. And that, my friends, is the full 40 marks.